Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex, back with my segment on the best board games coming to retail this month. These are games you can buy right now in stores and you don't have to wait 2 years to get them. Ho ho ho! Sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. These are board games coming to retail in September. Now, a lot of you guys have asked, how am I getting this information? And this is coming direct from publishers. I've reached out to a ton of different publishers and asked them to let me know when they have a game coming to retail, because I want to talk about that aspect of the hobby. And so a lot of companies have gotten back to me and told me which games they have coming to retail which months. It's not an exact science. Many of you probably know there is a global shipping problem right now, and tons of things have been delayed. Not just board games. They're not just targeting board games with shipping. No. We'll get the cars on the containers, but board games, we're gonna make those suckers wait. No, it's a global problem for a ton of different industries. So while these are expected to come out in September, some of them might get pushed a little bit, things like that. You know, they're sitting in shipping containers sometimes. Here in the United States, they're just sitting in a port on a shipping container, and no amount of money or bribes is going to get them off the container early. Believe me, I've tried, you know. Would a $5 get me onto that shipping container? No? Oh, no. How about a 10? Still not going to cut it, huh? All right, well, I'll have to wait for the game to hit stores then. These are the best board games coming to retail September 2021. AEG is releasing both the games 10 and Whirling Witchcraft. Obviously, I already have both of these games, and I have done full reviews on them on my channel. You can watch those if you want to get all of my thoughts. But both of them fall into that sort of light 30 minutes to play type of game. So if that's something you're looking for, then these are both really fun, and I recommend both of them. 10 is a push your luck game, which also includes a bidding and auction mechanic to it. You are trying to hit on cards, but if you go over 10, you lose all of the cards you were trying to get. And then there's an auction element where something comes up and you can try to bid on cards and stuff like that. So I think this is really, really fun if you like push your luck games. There's not a huge theme to it. It's just kind of the theme is fun. Do you like fun? Then check out 10. That's the theme. Whirling Witchcraft does have a theme. You are witches trying to create potions, but you are trying to create potions specifically to mess up and overload other players. It is an engine building game where you're playing cards. Those cards will produce cubes, and then in future rounds you're adding more and more cards and producing more and more cubes. Your cubes get passed to another player who have to fit them onto their board, and if they can't fit all of the cubes, the ingredients, onto their board, then you score points. So you are this is an engine builder with a lot of player interaction. You know, some engine builders, you're like, wow, I'm in my own little world here, and I'm making cubes, and I'm doing this, and I don't care what you're doing, because I got my little engine going, and screw all of you. But this, you're like, no. Screw all of you. I'm doing my engine specifically to screw you over. Ha ha ha! I'm a witch. I'm diabolical. So again, if you want an engine builder that's light and includes a lot of player interaction, Whirling Witchcraft is real fun. Arcane Wonders is releasing Furnace, which is also an engine building game, but I think this one has a little bit more depth of strategy than Whirling Witchcraft does. But it's still one of those games that plays in like 45 minutes. I love a game that has a decent amount of strategy and depth to it, but still plays pretty quickly. And I think Furnace really falls into that category. Plus, it's got this sort of industrial revolution theme. I love the cover artwork on this. It's so cool and interesting, and I'm intrigued by it. All right, well, Blue Orange Games is releasing Kingdomino Origins. If you like Kingdomino, classic game, super fun, one of the best tile-laying games out there that it's easy for people to get into, Kingdomino Origins is essentially the same game as Kingdomino, but it's got a prehistoric theme to it. They say it plays similarly to the original game, but introduces new components for additional actions and new ways to score points. Instead of crowns that you're adding up crowns with tile types, this time you are earning points for regions, territory regions, if they contain fire. Prehistoric man died without fire, so you need fire. Get it, or you're dead. It gets cold. You don't have a house. You're prehistoric. So if you like Kingdomino, then definitely check out Kingdomino Origins. Blue Orange Games is also releasing Bellum Magica, which is a game for 2 to 5 players that plays in 15 to 30 minutes. I think Blue Orange Games is one of the best companies out there that makes accessible games that anybody can play, but still has fun choices to them, and it looks like this one is no different. In Bellum Magica, each player represents an evil lord. Ooh, yes, I'd love playing bad guys. In real life, I try to be a good person, a human being, nice to people, generally pleasant. But if you let me be a bad guy in a game, let the evil ooze from my pores. Ooh. In Bellum Magica, you are recruiting creatures ranging from simple goblins to terrifying dragons and assigning them a task in your kingdom. Again, plays in like 15 to 30 minutes, so seems like an easy one to get into. I think there's some luck because there is dice rolling that determines what you can do on your turn. So if you don't want any luck in your games, maybe not the right one for you. But again, if it's over in 20 minutes, who cares if luck is against you? Suck it up and lose a game that takes 20 minutes, Eggertspiel is releasing Great Western Trail 2nd edition. Oh, so if you like Great Western Trail, there is a new version of it coming out right now. Western themes, there's a reason they make Western movies all the time. It's a popular theme. It's a fun theme. It's you against the world when you're in a Western. So if you like Western themes, then check out Great Western Trail 2nd edition. Fantasy Flight Games is releasing Unfathomable. Unfathomable is actually a reskin of Battlestar Galactica, the board game, which has been out of print a ton. So, if you never had a chance to play Battlestar Galactica, well, now you can check out Unfathomable. It's a game where it's a cooperative game, but it includes a hidden traitor mechanic. So, somebody you don't know who they are. Who is it? In Unfathomable, you are on it's an old-timey game, 1913, set in 1913, and you are on a steamship that's 2 days out from port on its voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. And it's 1913, so, the Atlantic Ocean was rough at that time. The Titanic sank in 1912, so you're on this thinking about that for sure. You're like, whoa, I hope we're not like those other guys that drowned. We got to make it. We got to make it. Its unsuspecting passengers fully anticipated a calm journey across the Atlantic Ocean with nothing out of the ordinary to look forward to. However, strange nightmares plagued the minds of the people aboard the ship every night. This is a game set in the Arkham horror world. If you are somebody that likes the hidden traitor mechanic, but you also want a game that has a decent amount of depth of strategy, well, Unfathomable plays in 2 to 4 hours. So there's a bunch of stuff going on, and yet there's still also a fun hidden traitor mechanic. So, seems pretty cool. And Fantasy Flight always has really good artwork and stuff like that. So I'm pretty on board with Unfathomable coming out. Gamewright is releasing Super Mega Lucky Box. This is a real fun, simple roll and write game. It doesn't look like much when I've seen the artwork to it, and yet every review that I'm seeing of it is really positive. Everybody's like, man, this game is just fun. I didn't expect it to be much, but I just have a great time playing it. And aren't those are some of the most fun games. When they surprise you, when you're like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try, and then you walk away being like, whoa, that was great. I had a good time. I came in it with jerk energy, and I left it feeling positive. I love that about a game. Garfield Games is releasing an expansion to Paladins of the West Kingdom called City of Crowns. So if you were a fan of Paladins of the West Kingdom, well, now you have more content for it. City of Crowns is coming out. This says you can increase your skills in diplomacy to rally support from nearby allies. Ooh, fun. You know, expansions can be tough. Do you have shelf space? Because I tell you what, Garfield boxes are they're very full. You're not going to be able to fit an expansion inside the original box, so I hope you have shelf space for an additional box. If you love the game, well, now you got to put a new box next to it, because you're not going to squeeze it into a Garfield box. All right, next up, we have Yellow is releasing Khora, Rise of an Empire. In this game, you are developing your city-state faster and better than your opponents. There's a ton of different tracks in this game, and you are trying to move up the different tracks faster than anybody else. I think you are rolling dice and using dice to be able to build combos to move up different tracks. And so if you're somebody that loves that idea of moving up different tracks, well, that's the main part of this game. There's a ton of tracks. There's like military tracks, civilization tracks, there's a button, tax tracks, you know, all that sort of stuff. So if you like tracks and moving up them, then check out Khora, Rise of an Empire. Next up, we have Mantic Games is releasing Overdrive. Overdrive looks, it's got super cool miniatures in it. I love the look of the miniatures in Overdrive. They look super fun and quirky, and they're just interesting characters. This is it's like an arena combat game. You are a team of aliens, mechs, and monsters in an arena sports game fighting against each other in arena combat. So if you love combat games, this is a two-player game, just a two-player game, so you will both be controlling multiple mechs and characters fighting against the other person. So if you're looking for a solid two-player game that has really cool little miniatures in it, fun miniatures, then check out Overdrive. Next up, Mondo Games is releasing Fight Club, the home game. And I gotta tell you, there's not a lot of information out about this game. You know, because of the first rule of Fight Club. But what I've been able to tell is this is also a two-player only game. And you are playing as, the two players are playing as Tyler Durden and the narrator. And it's a two-person competitive deck building game, which sounds cool. You know, a two-person competitive deck builder between Tyler Durden and the narrator. They share, build, destroy, sabotage, and enhance the same deck. Ooh, I don't even know how to wrap my head around that, but it sounds interesting. Tyler wins by destroying cards and completing Project Mayhem, and the narrator wins by buying very stylish collections of home decor and allowing his burgeoning emotional connection with Marla to flourish. So who's going to win? Chaos or, you know, love? Love or chaos? That's who wins in this game. I don't know much about this. I haven't seen any reviews on this game. Fight Club, the movie, super cool movie with a huge twist. If you don't know what that twist is, boy, you've had a lot of chance to figure it out. Okay, that movie's been out for like 20 years, and I don't feel bad if I just spoiled anything for you. But if you like the movie, Mondo Games has done a bunch of games recently that I've liked. A Gentle Rain, Dream Crush. So they're doing well in the game space right now. So, sometimes I worry about popular IPs being in games, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And it looks kind of cool. It sounds cool. A 2-person competitive deck builder. That sounds interesting to me. Pandasaurus Games is releasing Wild Space. This is another one of those games that has a lot of decisions and a lot of interesting strategy, but plays in like 30 minutes. I wasn't like super excited about this game when I first heard it, but the Dice Tower gave it a seal of excellence, and from what I am seeing about it, seems super cool. It is a game that's played really just with cards, but you can build cool combinations and cascading effects. And I love that in a game when you're like, I played this, and that allows me to get this, which allows me to play this, and that gets me there, and look at that combo. I'm the best. I feel good about myself. I just built a sweet combo. So if you like a card game where you can like do cool combos in it, then check out Wild Space, because the art looks really fun and interesting. And, once I heard that there was like cool combos in it, I was like, all right. Well, that just sold me, because I love a game like That's Pretty Clever, where it's all just about cascading effects. At the beginning of the game, you're like, okay, I just did this. Okay, I just did this. But by the end of the game, you're like, boom, 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 boom. That was all my turn, because I just set it up perfectly. All right, Plan B Games is releasing Equinox this month, and Equinox is actually a re-implementation of the old game Colossal Arena. And I've never played Colossal Arena, but I got to tell you, I like the artwork on Equinox a lot better. Colossal Arena was like a bunch of dragons and monsters and things like that, and Equinox is just like a bunch of interesting woodland creatures and stuff like that. It's so pretty. They're so cuddly. I want to be friends with them. Can we be friends, Equinox? Can we be friends? In the game, it is also a game that is just played with cards. It is actually a betting game. You are betting on different creatures and seeing which ones around them, which creatures hang around and get remembered. You are trying to bet on the right creatures that get remembered. It's kind of a weird theme, but if you're looking for a betting game out there that has beautiful artwork, well then Equinox fits that bill to a T. Betting game with beautiful artwork. That is look, seems cool to me. There are 2 different covers of this game, and I wonder if there are people that are going to be out there that are like, no, I want the purple cover. Well, I want the green cover. Green is better. Purple is better. We're going to have instead of a red versus blue situation, we're going to have a purple versus green situation when it comes to Equinox. They're both going to have their fans. Which one's going to win out? Only time will tell. Pretzel Games, which is also Plan B Games, is releasing Camel Up Off Season. This is a sequel to the great game Camel Up. If you've never played Camel Up, it is a racing game where there are these awesome little camel miniatures and you are racing around a board, and it's super silly and super fun. Well, Camel Up Off Season is essentially, hey, the race is over. What are these camels doing when they're not racing, during the summer months when it's too hot to race? What are these camels up to? So instead of a racing game, Camel Up Off Season is a market bidding game where you are trying to bid and get goods from the market and load up your camels and not overload your camels. If you get too many goods on your camels, they're going to lose all of the goods completely. So there's some cards that are face down and you're bidding and you don't know what everything is and you're trying to win different goods to put on your camels. It sounds fun. I also gotta say, there are no camel miniatures in Camel Up Off Season, which kind of makes me sad. That was one of my favorite parts of Camel Up. They were like these interesting, they were like kind of this cool plastic, and you could stack them on each other, and that was so fun, putting the camels on top of other camels, and there are no camels in Camel Up Off Season. I mean, there are like camels on the boards. There's just no little camel miniatures. And I'm going to miss those camels. I'm going to miss those camels in this game. You know? Why didn't you put camels in it? You should have put camels in it. Yeah, well, they didn't really fit with the mechanics of this game. I don't care. Put them in. We all want camels. All right, next up, Smirk and Dagger is releasing to retail The Night Cage. Ooh, The Night Cage is a fully cooperative, horror-themed tile placement game that traps 1 to 5 lost souls within an unnatural labyrinth of eternal darkness. One of the interesting things about this game is you cannot see all of the tiles that are out there when you're in the labyrinth because it's a horror-themed darkness. You know, you're in this dark sort of labyrinth. Only when you move to new places do the tiles around it get revealed and illuminated. And that's such an interesting thing. As you move around the labyrinth, tiles become visible and then disappear as you move away from them, which is just like a really interesting take on a tile placement game. I love that, where you're like, oh, and that feels so thematic, right? Where you're like, oh, everything behind me is collapsing into darkness. Ooh, it's scary. Please hold me. I wish I had a girlfriend. And that's it. That's all I got for you this month. Those are the best games coming to retail in September 2021. Check them out. I hope you're able to get some of them and play some good games. Thanks, everybody. I'm Grant's Game Rex.